Welcome to the Weekly Ring for Friday, February 23rd. We're your hosts, Ebony Duell
and Tyrann Gladden. March 1st, come out to the GLC for the Spring 2018 Career Fair. The event will take place from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Interdisciplinary Research Day is coming up on April 6th, and we are now accepting applications. Students from all majors can apply and present your work.
Students, don't forget to attend the UNCF and scholarship workshops every Wednesday in the Holgate Library Conference Room from 3 to 4 p.m.
Destiny Collins got a chance to sit down with Grammy Award-winning producer Andrea Fanatic Hurd. Here's some highlights from that interview.
When did you get your first Grammy?
I got my first Grammy producing for Beyonce. And once again, 6 Degrees of Separation. I was in the studio working on Boys to Men, and somebody that went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, the same school I went to, happened to know the engineer, and she stopped by to see the engineer. And as she was talking to the engineer, she was like, yeah, I'm working with Beyonce. And so the conversation came up that we went to the same school, and she asked me, she said, do you have anything for Beyonce? And I was like, I just might. So I had all my tracks with me again, a bunch of tracks. So I picked out like 20 tracks and just gave her a CD of tracks. And I didn't hear from them for like about 6 months. So I was like, maybe they didn't like any of the stuff I gave them. I get the call again in the middle of the night. They're like, Beyonce's gonna be at the Hit Factory tomorrow. She wants you to come in and mix the song. I was like, mix the song? What song? She said, oh, she wrote one of your tracks that you gave her like 5 months ago, and they just finished the song. So I went in the studio with her, and also once again, this was her first record. So her first solo record. So she had done love songs, but she had never done a song where she's talking about an intimate encounter with a person. And so this was the first time she had done a record like that. And the track that I did before it had this, vibe like that. And she was able to pick up on that. And so she and her cousin wrote the song, and it was exactly what I had in mind for the song. And they recorded it, and it came out really great. And so I was in there with her mixing it, and the album came out. The album did really well, and next thing you know, she's at the Grammys, and she's on stage, and she shouts my name out and everything.
BU Magazine is still accepting submissions, so submit your creative work.
Not only does this upcoming week kick off midterm week, but also spring break. Students, remember, residence halls close on March 3rd at noon and reopen March 11th at noon.
Let's take a look at this week's McLeans Minutes.
Welcome to McLeans Minutes. I'm Reverend Dr. Natalie McLean, chaplain of Bennett College. Are you familiar with the story of the 3 little pigs? Good. I'll give you an abridged version. There was a mother with 3 pigs, and it was time for them to leave home. Each one needed to build a house. One built his house with sticks, one with straw, and one with bricks. Calamity met the first 2 because a wolf came along and blew their house down. They were fortunate enough to go to their brother's house, whose house was made of bricks and withstood the wolf's assault. So what does this have to do with you as a college student? In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, we are told that you can choose the materials that you build with. First of all, you have a firm foundation in God, and then you choose what you build with using wood or hay or grass, or you could use precious stones and gold and silver. But you have to choose wisely, because a test is going to come, and the test will be as if by fire. So whatever is burned up will not last. So what does this have to do with me as a college student, you may ask? Well, it's about that time of year where it's midterm season, and you have a choice as to how you will build your academic house. You can build it with the cheap materials, such as cheating, procrastination, or not doing your part on a group project. Or you can use the lasting materials, such as good study habits, going to tutoring, and also doing your work on time. Remember, the choice is yours. Which materials will you build with? Because remember, on that test, we will all know how you have built. That which will last you a lifetime, but that which was done in a shortcut manner will be burned up and consumed. So watch how you build. It's just a thought.
Bennett College has welcomed a lot of new members to our family. I recently got a chance to catch up with Dr. Hayes, who is the new senior advisor to the president. And what do you think makes Bennett so different from other schools?
Well, I think Bennett has a really unique mission. Of course, Bennett is one of two, as you know, one of two HBCU women's colleges. And so I think that in and of itself is really unique, as there are only two in the entire country. So Bennett is an incredibly special place with a very special mission, and really working with young minority women and helping them to become the best leaders and scholars and citizens. That is a really powerful mission. Those are things I feel really passionately about. And so it was exciting for me to join that mission.
Hello and welcome to Movie Mania. I'm your host, Ebony Duell. This week we will be talking about the documentary, Tell Them We Are Rising. Tell Them We Are Rising is a documentary about the history of HBCUs. The film starts in slavery and talks about how even once the slaves were free, they still didn't have the choice to educate themselves. And even then, once they started their own institutions, they had to fight for black professors and black leaderships within those institutions. And even then, it goes on to talk about how HBCUs affected an entire nation over the course of time. For example, the sit-in movement. How did black college students affect an entire nation and change the world? The world will never know. But that's what makes the HBCU special, the history and the fight to continue to change the world. And that's why this film is on a must-watch list, because anybody that wants to attend a HBCU, goes to a HBCU, went to a HBCU, or wants to know anything about HBCU life can watch this film and get a sense of the importance and why we still have to fight today to keep HBCUs around. So if you want to watch this film, for those of you who have not seen the film, you can find it online. Thanks for tuning in. Another new member of the Bennett family is Kelly Malari, and Kyra Pierce had a chance to talk with her at the International Tea this week.
Tea event that we're having today is basically to represent different parts of the different countries around the world. This month is we're representing Africa, since it is Black History Month. So we're talking about Africa, and we're basically looking at the Black global community. I've taken little parts of some of the most popular places around the world to kind of educate some of our bells about, what Black looks like around the world. So specifically today we looked at Japan, what being Black in Japan looks like, what being Black in Cuba looks like, and what being Black in France looks like. So we have great articles and some food as well that kind of shows the students, what you can expect, what you can feel like. And, the Black community is not something that is just a part of America or a part of Africa. It's everywhere in the world. African Americans span the entire globe. This month again, we're talking about African American culture and what being Black looks like around the world. Next month in March, we will be looking at Chinese culture. We're going to be exploring some different Chinese things like food, culture, dance, etc. So you can look forward to that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of The Weekly Ring. If you have any announcements or want to join us here in the studio, please contact us on Twitter at Bell Media Group, and we finally made a new Snapchat. And you can add us at Bell Media Group. So, as you guys can see, Tyrann has stepped out of the studio, and she's finally going to ring the bell. Relax, you guys. I know I've been getting a lot of complaints, and you guys can finally calm down. I will no longer be ringing the bell.
Ebony, I don't see a bell back here. Just some Valentine's Day
It's back
balloons.
there. It's back there. Just keep looking.